Welcome to Reddit Stories, where we will be analyzing a few instances of people avenging their shame, or at least any sense of shame left in their body. Talk to me any way you please. Nah, have fun losing the entire staff along with the juiciest of juicy contracts. This is a super throwback, but it still brings a smile to my face. Also, my writing sucks, so please excuse the grammatical errors. I was a rink rat growing up. The only day I wasn't in the skating rink were the adult and gay nights. Calm down. It was the 90s, and that's literally what it was called. Friday night, Saturday morning, and night, along with Sunday morning and night, I was there. Hell, I didn't even leave between the morning and night sessions. I even went Tuesday nights as well. I was serious too. I dove deep into speed skating and not trying to toot my own horn, but I was pretty good and well known. Anyway, I'd been going to this specific skating rink for years and knew everyone. One day, it was right before I started seventh grade. The owner came up to me and asked me to go out onto the rink floor and tell some kids to slow down. I did and came back and he asked me how would I like to make $7.50 an hour, to which I responded, "Do I get in for free?" He laughed and said, "Of course." Boom. First job, and I wanted to be there anyway, so it was the biggest win win of all time for me. To say I loved it was an understatement, and I did everything besides work the snack bar: DJ, skate counters, floor guard, janitor, hype man, you name it, and I did it. It was some of the greatest times of my life. So much fun, and the owner was super awesome. Also, we were paid under the table, so getting an envelope full of cash every week just felt like a bonus for having fun. To me, it wasn't a job, it was pure fun. It also helped that all my friends were regulars as well. A few years ago, and the owner sold to another guy who we will call Tim. Tim could be an absolute nightmare to work for. He changed the entire dynamic of the place, and everyone felt it. Now, this skating rink was popular and extremely old. Lots or people all over the city knew it. My mom and aunt skated there when they were kids, if that tells you anything. Some way or another, the new owner set up a juicy deal that had the rink started making a crapload of money. On Saturday night from 7 to 11, it was skating per usual, but from 11 to 2-ish, 3-ish, was a club. A local hip hop station came in there with local label Swish House and turned the place upside down for those few hours. Every week, and the place was popping. There must have been over 2K people in there on average, and at $20 per person, it adds up quick. Plus, the snack bar would never stop turning out food and drink. We were making stupid money. Bonus! We also found some good stuff when cleaning up as well: money, knives, weed, jewelry. It was awesome. So, Tim has it made, but sometimes he would fly off the handle for little things. All of us weren't sure what his deal was, but he would explode out of nowhere and start talking all kinds of nonsense. It started to have enough because we all had worked there for many years without issue. One night he went too far. I don't like being called outside of my name. It's a respect thing. My own mother didn't do it, and he for sure wasn't. For context, I was in 10th grade now. One night he was in some kind of mood, and for whatever reason was taking it out on everyone. I don't remember the exact situation, but he started freaking out on me at about 11:30 p.m. Now, Slim Thug and Paul Wall were in the building that night, so the place was extra packed, way more than usual. I'm sure we were breaking all kinds of fire marshal rules, lol. He went ballistic and called me every name in the book while I just stood there with rage building up in me. I'd had enough. For years, the place ran flawlessly and everyone loved us, so he really didn't have a good reason to treat us in the manner he did. The plan was formed. I immediately gathered everyone else that was working, and we all decided that enough was enough. It was time for a lesson. I assembled the entire crew, and we all quit on the spot. All of us. That meant nobody to serve food, clean, help the Swisha House people, or just carry out general things that needed to be done when 2 to 3K people were in the building. He was stunned. His tone changed, and he became very sweet. We weren't having it. As an additional FU, I called the other two people that were off, and they showed up to quit as well. Tim had already reached out, so he assumed they were showing up to work. Nope. We left him with zero workers on the absolute busiest of busy nights, and boy did it implode. He couldn't find anyone to work, so the place went to absolute crap that night. The on duty officer told him he needed to figure something out or he was going to close it down without workers. Well, he didn't. It closed down that night, and apparently without staff, it got nasty. People started having smoking, trashing the place, and all kinds of stuff. Shortly after, the radio station and label took their business elsewhere, and not long afterward, the place closed down. He lost his entire investment. This was very bittersweet for me because I loved the place, but he ran it into the ground. The building is still standing, and I would love to bring it back to its former glory, but my pockets aren't deep enough yet. Maybe one day. Well, if you're pretty crappy to your staff, don't be surprised if they quit one day and leave the work to you. Well, you need to respect them, no matter what your status is in life. So, here we go with a little sensitive topic here. Maybe this is what you click this video for. Teacher verbally abused suicidal classmate. Now everyone knows. Story by Sixion's Z. This was back in high school when I was 17. I'm currently 20. I was in a class for forensics, and this teacher was notorious for making fun of students. I'll call her B teacher. To put in perspective how much I hate her, I got a pet cockroach and named it after her. In this class, she would have students take attendance by lining up and answering a question at her desk before going to sit down. This is important for later. It started with things such as making fun of students who weren't in class to hear, poking fun at how they looked, their grades, their clothes, etc. Things slowly escalated as the year progressed to where she would mock my voice in front of everyone whenever I spoke. I also have a very growly voice because I used to get recruiting scarlet fever for years, which permanently damaged my vocal cords. Said transgender people were a burden. We had a trans boy in the class, that depression wasn't real, etc. At first, it was fine. It's not like she was saying anything I've never heard before from my crappy classmates about each other. But then comes in my classmate who I'll call Small, because she's small. Small was a quiet and very sweet girl. She was funny and always nice to everyone. But she had really bad depression, anorexia, and she would be bullied a lot because her parents weren't the best. She often came to class smelling of her dad's chain smoking and in old hand me down clothes. Because B teacher would only encourage the bullying, Small eventually started cutting and wearing hoodies all the time to hide the cuts. But everyone knew. It got to the point where two people would take advantage of a poor family and pay her to scratch words on her leg or arm in class with a safety pin. B teacher did F all, and trust me, she knew. Fast forward a few weeks, and we all line up as usual. The question was, what's your favorite type of music? Me and Small come up. I answer and I'm heading to my seat when Small quietly goes, I don't know. I don't really have one. To which, and I kid you the F not, B teacher goes full volume with a smile on her face. Well, what kind of music doesn't make you want to slit your wrists? At this point, the entire class goes dead silent. She had gone too far, and Small immediately runs out of the class. Everyone is too shocked to know what to really do. So we just move on with class. I still wish I had gone to check on her. After that, I couldn't stand B teacher. I couldn't stand her existence. I couldn't stand looking at her smiling acting face. I wanted to rip that smile off. Every time she breathed, I wanted to strangle her. I was done with this. I began secretly recording every time she made fun of us. I would wreck her entire classes and crop out what I needed. And then one tiring month later, I emailed them all straight to the principal. Close to half an hour of this B making fun of everyone, making suicide jokes, etc. I fumed about how inappropriate and unacceptable this was, and I demanded justice. And crap, justice I got. B teacher didn't show up for a few days. When she came back, she had such a dead look in her eyes. Finally, no more of that goddamn smile. The principal calls us all together, and in front of everyone. Her husband, the students, and staff. She was forced to formally apologize for making fun of an effing suicidal 16-year-old. The look on her husband's face told me all I wanted. After this, I only ever needed to see her smoking alone and hated at the liquor store. The smile never came back. I never told anyone what I did, but everyone just knew, and the sense of overwhelming relief was very much welcomed in the class. Small started going to therapy, and we became pretty good friends. She got the help she needed. She moved out of her family's home with her sister, and she developed healthier coping mechanisms. Suicide is not a joke, and anyone who makes fun of someone, even remotely entertaining the idea of suicide, this is what you deserve. To lose your job, lose your friends, lose your reputation, lose your husband, and a kid to name a effing cockroach after you. And for those of you in MS or middle school or high school dealing with bullying, a bad home life, or mental health problems, you can do this. I don't know, some of y'all can't read. I guess she was fired, lose your job, and clarifying her husband, no, he wasn't called in from home. He was the algebra school teacher. Wow, that was a lot of stuff to take in, but yeah, I agree with the final thoughts there. Never make fun of suicide because sometimes, and this is a sad reality that I discovered, some people only stop making fun of suicide by the time the object of the suicidal jokes are dead or the object is dead. Like, come on, man. You need to be a little more sensitive to certain individuals. This is not how you handle. It's not how you handle a class, especially when you have a bunch of kids looking after you and treating you as the role model. So, anyway, do you agree with any thoughts that I've shared for these stories? Hopefully, you would be posting your reactions in the comments as well. Hopefully, you would like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Like, share, and comment on this video that you're watching right now. And I'll be seeing you on the next video. Bye bye.